Since Kobe Bryant retired, there's been a lot of people spilling out a lot of spaghetic energy towards him, talking about he wasn't great, he wasn't a top 10 player of all time. A lot of disrespectful takes going on. Recently, Max Kellerman came out and said he would be on the worst all NBA decade team. I'm here to tell you that a lot of these guys that get paid a lot of the big bucks and the millions of dollars that are on TV, and a lot of these guys that work in the front office doing the analytics and stuff like that. A lot of these guys lack the sensory intelligence when it comes to talking about basketball. And here's why. Just because you give somebody a spreadsheet and say, oh, we calculated all his shots and we calculated his points per shot, points per possession, stuff like that. We calculate his PER. If you actually watch the game and you see a player's impact, and you would really understand their value on the court. And Kobe Bryant was one of the most lethal scorers in NBA history. Kobe Bryant is third all-time on the NBA scoring list. Kobe Bryant has won 5 championships. Kobe Bryant was 1B to Michael Jordan's 1A. So this is a person that has done all this, and since he retired, a lot of people are being disrespectful towards Kobe Bryant. If you do the eye test and you actually know the game of basketball, most of these guys that are in the front office and and have these big time jobs, most of these guys were guys that couldn't make it off their JV varsity, their JV bench in high school. So a lot of these guys are just saying things. They got into the sports industry because they weren't talented enough to play college basketball, or they weren't even talented enough to make their varsity high school team. So they wanted to be in the sports industry to have a voice, and they got in the sports industry and stuff like that. Like I said, reading numbers does not tell you how good a basketball player is. And a lot of guys that play in the NBA and in the league itself and played in college, they would tell you that it's to say that, oh, you shoot 25% shooting 2-pointers, you shoot 50% shooting 3-pointers at this angle, you shoot another 55% shooting 2-pointers and floaters at this angle. Guys don't think about that when they're playing the game, when they're in the trenches, when they're trying to win, when they're trying to get a bucket. They think about what they practice. They think about what they work on. They think about trying to score. They think about trying to play defense. The analytics is really for coaches and is really for GMs and stuff like that. So a lot of these guys in the media, like the Max Kellermans of the world, that come out and say these crazy things about Kobe Bryant, like he would be on the all-decade team, it's really ridiculous, because if you know the game and you know Kobe Bryant played in the 2 toughest eras in the history of the NBA, of course his analytical and advanced stats are going to be, less compared to a guy that's played in the analytical era. And of course, that guy that played in the analytical era, if you're comparing it to Kobe Bryant, if you're comparing Kawhi Leonard, the advanced stats and stuff like that, the points per possession, even like shooting at clutch moments, it's probably going to be better than Kobe Bryant. But what do your eyes tell you? My eyes tell me, other than Michael Jordan, other than LeBron James, there's probably not another player in NBA history I would rather have over Kobe Bryant. This is a guy that, to me personally, is the most skilled player in the history of the game. We're talking about footwork. We're talking about the ability to get to your spots. We're talking about the ability to spin pivot. We're talking about the ability to shoot and change and score mid-air. Kobe Bryant was extremely, extremely skilled. A lot of people are going to say that, he stole all Michael Jordan's moves. That may be true, but he mastered Michael Jordan's moves better than Michael Jordan did it. That's how insane he was. That's how detailed he was in his studying film and watching Michael Jordan, watching other greats. And this is a guy that worked hard on a night in and night out basis. So it's very frustrating. And like I said, a lot of these guys just do things just for the clout, do things for the attention. But if you really know the game of basketball and you watch the game of basketball, Kobe Bryant was a stud. Kobe Bryant was one of the greatest scorers of all time. And the disrespect with Kobe Bryant since he's retired has been at an all-time high, and it really needs to stop. And I really don't understand it. It's hard for me to even make this video because I am a LeBron James super fan. So I'm defending Kobe Bryant, but I had to defend Kobe Bryant because the things that they're saying about Kobe Bryant is absolutely ridiculous, because stats and the analytics and the advanced stats and all those things does not tell the full story all the time. So you got a lot of these guys that are in these top positions on, in the media, TV personalities that go out and say and say and spew knowledge to the public that may be true, but it's a narrative behind what they're doing, because a lot of those things that they're saying, yet it may be true if you're looking at the numbers and you're looking at the data, but it doesn't tell you the full story, especially to the younger generation that may have not seen Kobe Bryant play, or may not have seen Michael Jordan play. Like, people look at numbers, like read off the numbers, read off the numbers, read off the numbers. But if you go back and watch some of these guys, you go back and look at Kobe Bryant and you actually do the eye test. That's why I'm a big fan of the eye test over stats. A lot of these guys that have better advanced stats were worse players than Kobe Bryant. So sitting up and saying that Kobe Bryant had worse stats and worse analytical stats than Kawhi Leonard, and watching the game and watching Kobe Bryant, watching Kawhi Leonard, and somebody come and tell you like all advanced stats about Kawhi Leonard, it's a narrative behind that and try to make Kawhi Leonard seem like he's a better basketball player than Kobe Bryant, when it's simply false and simply untrue. And they do the same thing to Allen Iverson. They do the same thing to a lot of elite scorers of the game. Since Kobe Bryant retired, he's become probably the most disrespected legend since he retired overnight. And it's like people tend to forget. It's like recency bias. Like, how do you forget how great Kobe Bryant was? No matter if you hate him, no matter if you love him, it's just like, I don't know what has happened overnight where all these people are just talking. It's like a negative notion about these negative concepts about Kobe Bryant. I know his game, he wasn't that great, and he was overrated. All these things have happened overnight, and I'm just very like baffled by all this. Like, how did this go? We went from loving and praising Kobe Bryant throughout his entire career to now he's one of the most overrated players in the history of the game. He's not a top 10 all-time player. He's like, Kobe Bryant, since he's retired, has become the most disrespected legend in the history of the NBA, and it's getting kind of out of hand, and it's getting kind of ridiculous. This is a guy, like I said, was 1B to Michael Jordan's 1A, and to say he's not a top 5 player of all time, to say he's overrated, to say he wouldn't be on any all-decade teams, or he would be on the worst of the decade teams, it's very, very questionable, and it's just very, very sad. It just can become very, very, sad that that's the route that they got to go to get likes and get retweets, to get to try to break the internet or whatever they're trying to do. Because a lot of this stuff, if you know the game of basketball, you know that Kobe Bryant was a great player and is a legend.